They come and go.
Ladies and gentlemen.
They come fast, they come slow.
Gentlemen and ladies.
Like the last light of the sun.
Ladies and gents.
All in a blaze.
And all we see is what?
And all you see is glory.
Rayshawn Patterson, everybody.
But it gets lonely.
And he's talking about when there's no one here to share. This is Stars, ladies and gentlemen. Story. People come and go, you know.
People lust for fame.
And you know what they do?
Like athletes.
They play games. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to turn down Rayshawn Patterson. This video is talking about the history that repeats itself. Sorry about the screen coming back in over and over again because we don't need it. This right here, this overlay, is as a result of a program called BlueStacks. And I'm going to have to get rid of that. So y'all just going to have to excuse me for a second. That's it right there. BlueStacks. Hey, BlueStacks, homie, you got to go. Because you ain't... Yeah, I already hit quit earlier. But it just didn't do what I wanted it to do. So it will go away in a second. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to talk. There's a lot going on. We have a lot of people out there who have been trying to get some redress. They've been trying to say, hey, you know what? Government ain't been doing what I hired it to do. You know, the government has been really encroaching upon my rights. You know, the government took my property and they didn't have a right to take my property. You know, the government, oh God, the government. You've been hearing that, haven't you? Because I've been hearing it repeatedly. I have individuals saying, pay attention, that we hate government. We? Who in the is we? I don't know. They just put us all in one group. Then they say that we are sovereign citizens. You know what, ladies and gentlemen? I'm going to give sovereign citizens a new name. Yes, I'm going to do it starting today. Sovereign citizens are what's known as non-citizen nationals. Did you hear what I just said? Non-citizen nationals. Okay. Now, if you want to know who a non-citizen national is, all you gotta do is let's do it. Let's do a little bit of looking up. We're gonna go here. Sorry, we're gonna look up this in just a second, and y'all just have to wait until we get there. That's the declaration. Let's open it right here. My dog is trying to get my attention, so give me a second, y'all. Let me see what's going on with her. Sorry, I just had to make sure there was no problem because she was just yapping, barking for no reason, and she literally is just hearing my voice and doing that. But she and I, we have an understanding, okay? She doesn't bark because she knows, ladies and gentlemen, I don't allow my dogs to bark, not unnecessarily. I never have allowed that. It is, they know better. And it doesn't even take a lot of training to get them to understand that. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all know the young man Phil Collins in my background, huh? A legend in his own right. Ladies and gentlemen, we do need for you guys to understand something. Non-citizen-nationals-definition. I want the definition of a non-citizen national. Don't y'all want to know what a non-citizen national is? I'm going to suggest that all of you understand this definition because I promise you there could be no greater video done in this time in which we live, in this history in which we live. Non-citizen U.S. nationals include those persons who were born in or born to parents of outlying possessions of the United States according to the Immigration and Nationality Act. These outlying territory possessions include the American Samoa, Hawaiian Islands, and so on and so forth. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it includes more than that, a whole lot more than that. They don't determine where you were born. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to make sure that you understand that you are an outlying possession of the United States. Each state is its own sovereign. They may be part of the United States, but they are not the United States. Follow me. California is not the United States. I was born in California. I was not born in the United States. I was born in a state of the United States, i.e., an outlying island of the United States, an outlying territory of the United States. I didn't say this. They said this. The moment they documented that California was its own sovereign. It may be part of the United States, but it is not the United States. Do y'all get what I'm saying? Some of y'all may not understand what I'm saying, so I'm going to say it again. There are two things. Were you born in a house or were you born in a hospital? Now, I was born in a hospital, but you know, there were a lot of people who were born in a house. There are some people who were born in the backseat of a cab. But it doesn't necessarily mean they were born in a hospital, does it? If you're born in a hospital, you're in the hospital. What if you're born in a parking lot? Does that mean you were born in a hospital since the parking lot is part of the hospital? No. You're born in a parking lot. You were not born in the hospital. In the United States means in the United States. Ladies and gentlemen, California may be part of the United States, but it is not the United States. It's its own sovereign. Okay? Give me a second. I got to go speak to this mutt because she's whining for a reason. And I think it's just because she wants to come inside. And I ain't going to let her inside. She going to be out there. Well, no, because it's only 67 degrees. You know, the temperature has been fluctuating. It was just 69 degrees and it dropped down to 67. We have cold weather that blew in here yesterday. Pay attention. Cold weather blowing in from the east. Not blowing in from the north. Not blowing in from the northwest. But blowing in from the east. Amazing, ain't it? I ain't seen nothing like it in ever. 1 second, y'all. Got Patti LaBelle in the background. And she's singing not right, but real. Ladies and gentlemen, I put in the state of California is a sovereign entity. Let's see what case text, court opinion has to say about that. If California is its own sovereign entity, that means that it is, pay attention, separate from the United States. The only thing that makes the United States united is that each of the states have permitted themselves to be united as a union, like the European Union. But each country is its own separate country. That's why they are allowed to set up their own separate laws. If the state of California was the United States, then that means that it would not be able to set up its own laws. That means it would not be able to set up its own penal codes. That means it would not have its own legislature, Congress, and or governor. That means it would have its own statutes, but its statutes must be in conformity with that of the United States. That means when the President of the United States said something, the governor of Texas and the governor of Florida, as well as the governor of California, would have to obey. Each state is its own independent sovereign, but they have agreed by way of a treaty called the Interstate Compact and other agreements to operate in harmony with one the other. I didn't say one another, I said one the other. Okay? Got to get it right. As my friend's mother would say, you show's telling the truth. Okay, I missed that young lady. Her name was Mrs. Stoudemire, and she was a unique woman. She, as she got older, I met her. She was my friend in high school. She was his adoptive mother, and she was technically the grandmother, but she took care of him. So, adoptive mother. Okay. I got to get you into my life. This is Earth, Wind, and Fire, y'all. I don't know what's going on with this right now that it ain't doing what it's supposed to do. Ladies and gentlemen, we gonna. Oh, it's that Bluehost thing that's still getting in my way. Not Bluehost, but let me move this out of the way so I can take care of this. It's BlueStacks. Okay. And see, it ain't letting me get rid of it. So what I'll do is I'll do that. This song right here has its own history, meaning, and Earth, Wind, and Fire. Although I don't like all of their beliefs, and their existence has nothing to do with whether I like this or like that. I like the song. Okay? Just that simple. Now, I'm gonna have to put y'all on pause so I can get control of this. I know what to do, so give me a second so that we get it clear. The state of California is a sovereign body within the Constitution. Why? Because the state of California accepted the treaty, the incorporation into that Constitution. Not by no stupid 14th Amendment. The courts continue to bring up the 14th Amendment. It has nothing to do with California. 14th Amendment doesn't have any authority over California. I'll explain it in a minute, then you'll understand. The state of California is entitled to sovereign immunity because it is a sovereign. Ladies and gentlemen, you must really get that. Now, if you go back and read the Northwest Ordinance, as we mentioned, this one talks about a writ of habeas corpus. Ladies and gentlemen, habeas corpus is supposed to be always available. That means it can't even be suspended even during a time of war. Congress never had the authority to do that, ever. We're going to talk about that in this video. The authority, the delegation of authority. Thus, it is clear that the California Highway Patrol, the CHP, is an arm of the state of California and therefore protected by sovereign immunity. Ladies and gentlemen, the California Highway Patrol is a private corporation. It is not protected by sovereign immunity. No private corporation has sovereign immunity. A private corporation can never be sovereign in the United States. Why? Because the United States is a government of the people, for the people, by the people. Let's prove that. Don't just take my word for it. I just thought I'd show you this. Ladies and gentlemen, have you heard of something known as the Declaration of Independence? Anybody? 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 First, we're going to go to what took place after that declaration. See, you had the Articles of the Confederacy. Articles of the Confederacy, General Lee. That general gets on my nerves. He just shows up every single time, just General Lee this and General Lee that. Everybody's always talking about General Lee. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about the Declaration of Independence, shall we? I went ahead and I pulled up a transcript of the Declaration of Independence. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you guys, because we're going to talk about the Declaration of Independence, we're going to talk about exactly what was taking place in order for the Declaration of Independence to be the Declaration of Independence. Y'all don't mind? So this is a text from Archives, the National Archives, archives.gov archives.gov. Government website. Declaration of Independence. A transcription in Congress. July 4th, 1776. A unanimous declaration of the 13 United States of America. I did not do the United States that way. They did when they transcribed it. When in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people, that's a group, not one person, but one people, a group, to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth, earth powers, earth, wind, and fire, where y'all at? Come on now. Earth, wind, and fire, powers of the earth, y'all. Hey, I didn't write it, okay? The separate and equal station to which the law of nature and nature's God. You mean to tell me nature has a God and nature has a law? You better believe it. Nature's law, law of nations, all part of the common law, ladies and gentlemen. Entitle them a decent respect to the opinion of mankind requires that they should declare the cause which impels them to the separation. I am not in any way advocating anybody separate. Okay? This is not an avant issue. All right. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. Ladies and gentlemen, there was only one man who was created. Everyone else was procreated. Go back and take a look at the facts. So that's not a truth. But it's a general truth. No, it's not even a general truth. Because every other man is procreated. One man was actually created. Endowed by their creator. Endowed. That's right. Now, let's go ahead and talk about what these men said they were going to do. Okay? Pay attention. But when the long train of abuses and usurpations pursuing veritably the same object evidences a design to reduce them under absolute despotism or despotism. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this song is by Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes, featuring Teddy Pendergrass, and it's called Could You Please Be For Real? I mean, just be for real, all right? Okay? It is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new gods for their future security. Such has been the patient sufferances of these colonies, and such is now of necessity, which constrains them to alter the former system of government. The history of the present King of Britain is a history of repeated injuries, usurpations, all having direct object of establishment of an absolute tyrant over these United States. To prove this, let the facts be submitted in candid world. He refused his assent to laws, the most wholesome necessities for the public good. Ladies and gentlemen, they brought forth their declaration saying that the king had failed to do the job for which he was there, which is why I'm telling you they would never have accepted the so-called British, so-called common law in the United States. The people never would have accepted such a thing. They didn't operate that way. All right, let's continue. He has forbidden his governors to pass laws of immediate and pressing importance unless suspended in their operation till his assent should be obtained. And when so suspended, he has utterly neglected to attend them. In other words, he said that he was going to enact stuff and he didn't enact it. They got pissed off. He has refused to pass other laws for the accommodation of large districts of people unless those people would relinquish their right of representation to the legislator. Isn't that what the United States continues to do? Hold on, we're going to talk about that in a minute. He has called together legislative bodies at places unusual, uncomfortable, and distant from the dispository of their public record. Got some more, only about 5 more. He has dissolved the representatives of the House. He has refused for a long time after such dissolution to cause others to be elected. He has endeavored to prevent the population of these states. Okay? He has obstructed justice by refusing his assent to the laws for establishing judicial power. He has made judges dependent on his will alone, which is why case law would not have been what the people would have relied on, because the judges did what the king said and nothing otherwise. That's why it never would have been allowed. They never would have consented to the common law of Britain being the law of the land for the United States. That is a lie. And that's the lie that they want us to believe. Because why? We are like Homer Simpson. Dope! We are dopes! And because we are dopes, they get away with it. Because we are dopes. Now I say we, ladies and gentlemen, as one of Jehovah's Witnesses, I do not take to politics. I do not take to political standings, elections, or any of that stupid stuff. That's not how I roll. Excuse me, I got a fly, and he wants my attention. Okay, he won't be flying no more. He has been the winged, the body, the eyes, everything is gone. So he won't be flying no more. Okay, he been grounded or walled or something, but he won't be doing that no more. Okay, let's get back to this. He has obstructed the administration of justice. He has elected a multitude of new offices. Okay, he has kept among us in times of peace standing armies without our consent. He has affected the render of military independence of and superior to that of civil power. Isn't that what we're doing right now? Ladies and gentlemen, everything that they were complaining against over in Britain and with the United States when they first formed it, aren't these the exact same things that are happening now? I mean, aren't they exactly the exact same thing that is happening now? You know, there was a time in the Israelites' histories when they requested a king. It was after the time of what's known as the Judges. If you ever want to get a better understanding, read the last book of Judges and the first book of First Samuel. So, or you know what? Let me make sure. No, I apologize. I spoke wrong. Judges, then Ruth. So the first book of Ruth, the last book of Judges. Or no, I was correct. No, Ruth doesn't deal with the lineage and the judges. So the last book of Judges, the first chapter of Samuel, First Samuel. And you will see that the people eventually would, in the fourth chapter of First Samuel, they would demand for a king. We want a king to rule over us like the nations. And he told Samuel to tell the people what would be the due of the king. And twice Samuel told the people, hey, your king will have the right to do this, your king will have the right to do that. Ladies and gentlemen, the people of Britain chose their king. Their king did not just ascend to the throne because he felt like it. Britannia was a small little providence, and next thing you know, by Bible prophecy, she was destined to be who she is today. Just that simple. The people chose to follow that leader. Well, then they later complain. So let's see what we're doing here. Not finished. It won't be finished. I'm probably not going to be finished till Wednesday because I got a lot of changing to do. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the document that I'm working on. That's why I took y'all to Non-Citizen Nationals. Hey, I know this song. This is Sweet Understanding Love by the Four Tops, y'all. It says, like the Declaration of Independence, it is clearly documented that a group of individuals came together via declaration and insisted on the following. The history of the present United States government is a history of repeated injury and usurpation, all having a direct object on the establishment of an absolute tyranny over the non-citizen nationals. To prove this, let the facts be submitted to a candid world. The United States government has refused their assent to laws, the most wholesome and necessary for the public. The United States government has forbid, and they're supposed to be, hold on, do that right there. Governors to pass laws of immediate and pressing importance, unless suspended in their operation until assent should be obtained. And when so suspended, the United States government, I'll take care of all that later. Do you see what I'm doing with the Declaration of Independence? I'm applying it to the current day. I'm putting it in our motion to challenge the statute. Why? Because what most of you don't understand, that was one of the first things I had up that I didn't show y'all, but I show y'all's now. That's me yawning again. Ladies and gentlemen, the yawning that I do, some people are concerned, some people are not concerned, some people are aware, some people are not aware. The yawning that I do is the hypoxia. No, it's the lack of oxygen. Okay, breathing is breathing issues are a side effect of all the junk that I've been through. And so even though there is air around me, my body is not pulling in all of the oxygen. So from time to time, when there is a lack of airflow, like there is in here at this time, there is a lack of airflow. The wind is blowing, but there's only one window open, and that's the front door. All the other windows are closed. Okay, so gave many people earlier today a better understanding of, I don't want you, I want to go back to you. Gave people a better understanding of what was going on with me as far as what I go through. As soon as this video is finished, I will be laying down. So I won't be doing any more research. I'm going to go lay down. Why? Because this is that time of year for me where eyes get tired. The Bill of Rights is the supreme law of the land. The right to challenge any blah, blah, blah. It is generally true that an individual charged with a violation of law or regulation may attack the constitutionality of the law or regulation only as it applies to his or her and the facts of his or her case. Ladies and gentlemen, they say that it is generally true. There's that generally again. First of all, because of the Declaration of Independence, you have the right to challenge any law. You can even do it because it affects your fellow Americans. As one of the people, it affects you. This is a technicality that nobody's brought up before. But so long as it affects Tommy, it affects you. Because you guys are under the equal protection principle of the Declaration of Independence. All men are created equal. And if that's the case, if it affects Dexter, if it affects Robert, if it affects Michael, it affects you. You follow me? All right. Ladies and gentlemen, my suggestion is when you're challenging a statute, you challenge the stupid statute. But my suggestion is that you use the core documents in doing so. The Declaration of Independence documented exactly what the people said they were not going to stand for. The fact that we have these statutes and laws prove that the government has become exactly what the people had fought against in the first instance and would never have tolerated or stood for that. Ladies and gentlemen, this ain't no mountain high enough. Y'all know this is Whitney Houston. Okay, I gotta go. Y'all take care, all right? Good.